Can I even remember this one's name? It's been one of those weeks.
Fran. This is Fran. Poor Fran is just beginning
The process.
and he's got a file.
His son's life, 4-year-old son's life.
In a file. And we're going to sprinkle some magic, maybe. What do you think of the show so far?
I'm still reading. I'm deep in thought.
Don't think too much, that's my job. So here we are, what we're doing is the most important thing, which is Fran is looking at one of my standard letters, which we're going to try and knock one up for him. And although it's kind of off the subject, I'll introduce you in a minute, but I only get a few minutes on this thing. Now, Kyle, who we already got on film a while back. Yeah. So you're 25.
Yes. No. 25 this year.
Don't trust this guy, can't even remember how old he is.
So tell me, please, if you don't mind,
What's that?
recant for me the first conversation with your father in your life.
Is that Facebook or is that Skype?
Fucking younger generation.
Which one?
Whatever.
Well, I'll do Facebook because that is the first conversation.
Go on then.
Hi, thanks for taking the ad. How are you? And then he was like, I'm alright. And I was like, do you know who I am? And he goes, yes. But I think there was a comment before that where he said, I put a post and I put, my life feels like an episode of Lost.
So repeat.
An episode of Lost. I said, my life feels like an episode of Lost.
How many children does your father have?
Five.
So you're an irrelevant. You're just one of many.
No, quite a relevant thing.
So we're being cheeky about, because we've just been talking about Rebel Radio. We've got to make light of the most important conversation. It is live. So come on, let me not interrupt anymore. How did it go then?
It went really well. So I put my life was like an episode of Lost. So many questions. Will I get the answers? And then we'll lead some more questions. He put on something. He put I also have questions, and then we started talking. I found out lots of stuff. Very good stuff with my side, very good stuff, and we've emailed.
Kyle spoke to his father for the first time in his life about a week ago.
Really? No, a week ago. It's about a month ago now.
Okay, about
a month ago, and it went really well. And then a week or two, a couple of days after, I got added, slept right and centre from all these
we met here about 2 months ago, and we had this really intelligent conversation where Carl was talking to me. He wasn't really saying that it was a big problem. He didn't know anything about his dad. He just came across him on Facebook a couple of months ago. But he was sort of describing how it was a bit of a whole, he wasn't really sure of himself as a human being. And then I spoke to him a few weeks later, and he just said, I've just found my dad on fucking Facebook.
It was a coincidence, I'll give
Which
it that.
destroys life.
It was through my uncle.
Yeah.
Found out lots. So my uncle's known him all his life. They've been good friends.
But what did you feel in that heart of yours when you began this?
Ironically, how did I feel?
Yeah, that's what.
When I first saw him on my uncle's Facebook page, I was like, is that who I fucking think it is? Because I was angry. But then ironically that anger turned to love within that first conversation. And all the anger was concentrated on my side of the family. Because they'd all fucking know where he was and what he was doing, and they'd all told him that I never wanted to see him. So they were trying to protect me from my benefits because of the way he used to be. He's been open as a sleeve to me. about his life, and he wasn't the greatest of people in his younger days. And
None of us are. None of us are.
And
So what did you feel inside when you started your dialogue with him?
he was exactly what I imagined him to be. He was exactly me, especially considering yesterday or the day before was our first Skype conversation, and I felt a little nervous and had to have a cigarette because it was dialing. But as soon as he answered and he was sat there showing me about the house in Australia, it was like I just walked over for going up for the weekend. For about the past 25 years, it was fine, absolutely fine. Couldn't believe it. I had more of a pause in conversations on the phone with my mum than I did.
God.
So, in a sense, because of, and I will say it because of the trip up to my mum's the other day, the motherfucking cunt of a stepdad ruining my life, because that was my aim.
Don't worry, there's one of those that's ruined my daughter's life as well.
There you go. And she's turned into more than him, so she's lost as far as
Let's forget about that. But sorry to interrupt, because it does such short films. So, what about his face? Did you see yourself in his face? And, yeah?
Yeah. I saw pictures on Facebook, and his sister, my auntie, brought some up to Starbucks in Gloucester that one week. I was like, yeah, looks like me, yeah. And I didn't know I was going to think when I first ever saw a proper, decent, structural picture that wasn't blurred from camera angle or whatever. When I saw them, and then when I saw them on camera on Skype, it was like, yeah, that's exactly what I imagined it to be. So I remember my granddad, his dad.
You can tell this guy's a camera whore, can't you? He loves it.
And he just ticked every box for what I expected. So
you're going to speak regularly and...
Well, first off, in all honesty, actually, he kept going on, get on Skype, you know, because he was always talking to my uncle, and I was at my uncle's a couple of weeks back, and my uncle was like, do you want to talk to him? I was like, nah, because I was a bit shy then. And then all of a sudden I was sat in here, over the other side of the room the other day. He went, you sort of Skype out yet? And I said, no, I can't get it to work. And he said, right, do this, and this. So I did it, it worked. I was like, yes. And went down to our shop, used the Wi-Fi on it, just sat outside the shop and just talked to him like that. Fine as anything. Couldn't believe it. Because I honestly thought I was going to be awkward, but it wasn't.
Are you going to have you talked about meeting up?
Yeah, ages ago. He's got 2 spare rooms in Oz. As I'd said when I would text you one time, I was having a few issues, I still am, with the house and the ex-girlfriend now. So yeah, I'm going to wait until next September for my sabbatical for 6 months, and I'm pissing off over there. I might go over in February if I can finance it for a week, but it's a long way to go for a week. But considering the situation it is, I'd want to do that for all that money. He's waiting on a visa for work, so he can't pay for anything at the moment, otherwise he would. So yeah, as soon as he's got some money, he's going to put some of mine, or pay for about 90% of it. You know, I'll just pay for having leisure time over there, you know. But I think we're just going to end up going fishing and things. So yeah, I'm going over there, going to hang out, come back.
You've got to get this guy some money.
Carry on with life. And then when my sabbatical year comes up next September,
so just a couple of quick. I didn't even thought we'd link up. How is this really? How's your sleep been? Has this affected your sleep?
My sleep, ironically, because I've split with a girlfriend, it's a 1-bedroom.
We'll leave her out. Yeah. But regarding your dad,
yeah. Now I'm on an airbed. My sleep has improved a lot better. My sleep was alright with anything before that anyway. And knowing my dad never affected my sleep or anything like that, or...
But you see, you've changed. You see, you just look a healthier. There's something about you which
No, I would say if you'd seen me a couple of weeks ago, look ill as shit. I mean, I'm quite flustered in the face at the moment, so it looks like I've got some colour in me, but I've not been sleeping because I was emotionally upset about the split, and the only thing that had keeping me going was my dad. I'd speak to him and whatnot, and he'd give us advice and everything, and I wouldn't remember him give us anything. That's right.
But
when I'm
you know, in terms of your dad, did it really get you inside? Did it really churn you up? And
what, when I first met him? Well
yeah, when you first decided you'd be talking and realised you'd be talking.
I had butterflies for 5 seconds when I talked to him on Skype 2 days ago. Day or two, whichever it was. It feels like that's what I mean. It feels like I've been talking to him for forever, which is the ironic thing about it, which I'm amazed at. And he's got his high school sweetheart that's out there. That's who he's gone with, and she'll talk on there, and I don't feel any of that awkwardness. I do when I'm talking to my stepdad, but I should feel that, right, this is the woman that's not my mum with my dad. I should hate her. No, I get along and talk to her as well. I like my dad and his first true love, who he's now with again, more than I do than my mum and my stepdad. I would love my mum because she's become so much like my stepdad. I haven't got the time of day. And a lot of the other families feel in that way as well.
Oh well.
It's turned into I'll say it again, it's become my favourite word. It's not my favourite word because it describes a lot of people around here. Like I go point my finger left to right and
I'm
centre.
starting a campaign to replace the word fucking with, now you'll probably know what this is,
right.
Fracking. Do you know what fracking is?
No, I've never heard of that
Fracking
one.
is this terrible thing where they pump chemicals down into the ground to release shale gas. And it's very damaging to the water course. And they do it in America. It's a bit of a cover-up about the real effect it has on the environment, and they're thinking about bringing it in here, so I'm replacing fucking with fracking, but it's worse. Anyway, I've got to go now. Well, to be continued, what can we say? Kyle, wow.
This is me.